Good afternoon and welcome to today's conference matchup between the Arcadia Raiders and Viroqua Blackhawks. I am Carl Zuby with Western Wisconsin Video Productions, and the throwout to first base is not in time, and number 11, the catcher Aspenson of Arcadia, makes it safely to first base. That'll bring up number 1, the center fielder Fitzpatrick of Arcadia, and she swings on the first pitch and down the third baseline for strike number 1. Fitzpatrick takes second base. Stolen on the pitch from Clark. And foul back. It's 0-2, the count to Fitzpatrick. Aspen on first, or on second, sorry. Bremer, the pitcher, on deck. And foul down the first baseline for strike number 2.5. Ball high. 1-2 the count. And swung on for strike 3. First out of the inning. That'll bring the pitcher Bremer up. And on deck we have the first baseman Sansala, number 13. There's two Sansalas playing today for Arcadia, but because of the lineup that I was given, I was not given first names, so this is the first baseman, number 13, Sansala. Later on, batting ninth, number 10, playing shortstop, we have either a sister or a cousin or something in another Sansala. So we'll see what happens. Foul ball. 1-2 the count to Bremer. High, or a little chopper to center field. And that'll be good enough for a triple for Bremer. And score Aspen. So Arcadia Raiders on the board. And the first pitch to Sansala is ball 1. So with a runner on third, 1 out, here's the pitch from Clark. Low in the dirt, stopped by Zitzner for ball 2. 2-0 the count. And foul back for strike 2. strike one. Sorry. Oh, or two and one the count. And a hit down to second base for out number 2. That'll be a 4-3 put out. And then I'll bring up the third baseman, Ely, number 16 from the Raiders. With number 23, Berg on deck, the right fielder. Called strike one. And a swinging strike two. 0-2 the count to Eli. And a swinging strike three. So 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, or 1 error for the Raiders. And a short little word from our sponsors, and right back with the home half of the first inning after this.
The Vasatag Funeral Home, dedicated to serving area families in time of need. Caring, professional guidance, always a must. Contact Gina Sherry for reliable, compassionate care. The loss of the life of a loved one is always a stressful time. Turn to Vasatag Funeral Home, Westby and Viroqua.
Stoddard, DeSoto, Ferryville. It's not hard to figure out where Riverbank got its name. Those 3 communities are where Riverbank started. Now that Riverbank has grown to serve communities in Bangor, Berry Mills, Coon Valley, Holman, La Crosse, Sparta, Toma, and Westby, the same close community spirit that brought us together is still there. Friendly, personal service, understanding the customer's needs, and going the extra distance in providing service. Riverbank, local banking made simple. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Located on Highway 27, Cashton Farm Supply, organic poultry, organic eggs, and more from your organic specialist, Cashton Farm Supply. When it comes to organic farming requirements, stop in and talk to the specialist, Ernie Peterson and his crew, Highway 27. Call 608-654-5123 today.
Welcome back to the home half of the first inning. We have Whitney Scrady up to bat for the Blackhawks. Blackhawks trail by a score of 1-0 after the single from Aspenson and the triple from Bremer. Hard hit ball to center field. That'll see Scrady safely at first with the single. And that will see number 6, the shortstop, Mara Anderson. Anderson with the bunt down the third base line. And she'll be safe. That will bring Scrady to third. And we'll have runners on the corners for the Blackhawks as number 12, Zoe Clark, the pitcher, comes up to the plate. Bryn Swenson, the third baseman, on deck. Called strike one. And to the shortstop, bobbled, safe on the air is Clark. That will score Scrady and move Anderson to third and bring up the third baseman, number 14, Bryn Swenson. So foul ball. Not sure, just looking at the scoreboard, the Raiders have scored 2 in the first inning. So Bremer must have scored on a wild pitch. So it's 2-1. Now with no outs, 2 balls to Clark with a runner on third and second is Clark. And a called strike 1, 2-1 the count to Swenson. Runners in scoring position. In the dirt, pass ball, that'll score Anderson and move Clark safely to third. Tied up now at 2 apiece. No outs. 3-1 the count to Swenson with the first baseman Maggie Berra on deck. So pretty sure Swenson has the red light not to score or not to swing on anything. And a called strike 2 for full count. So here comes the payoff pitch from Bremer. Low, ball 4. So base on balls for Swenson. Still no outs. Runners on the corners. Here is number 9, Maggie Berra, the first baseman, left-handed hitter. And she'll see called strike number 1 and throw down to third to keep Clark honest. That did move Swenson to second. So now runners on second and third. The drop strike 3. So 1 out for the Raiders. Bryn Swenson, or Braylon Zitzner, the catcher, up to bat, with Emily Hubach on deck. See a called strike 1, 0-1 the count with 1 out for the Blackhawks. Pitch from Bremer. Called strike 2. So Zitzner in the batter's box with Hubach on deck, Zuby in the hole. Swung on, hit bat to the pitcher for a 1-3 put out, and out number 2 of the inning. That'll bring up number 22, Emily Hubach, with the second baseman, Maddie Zuby, on deck. Score tied at 2 apiece. Swung on and hit high for the number 3 unassisted for out number 3 of the inning. So after 1 complete, your Arcadia Raiders 2, the hometown Blackhawks 2. More after a word from these sponsors.
The Viroqua Booster Club. Supporting the many teams of the Viroqua High School, the Booster Club works closely with coaches and administration to assist in many ways. Contact Rob Klum, Dan Brown, or any Viroqua Booster Club officer. Get involved with the Blackhawks. supporting all athletes, every sport, every season. Cashton Building Supply and CBS Design. Be sure to stop in and see Kevin Kirking or Courtney Kuzi for all your new building or renovation plans. It's your one stop to get everything you need when it comes to home, agricultural, or remodeling projects. Call 654-7871, Cashton Building Supply and CBS Design. Premier Co-op, serving members since 1893. Your corporate office located in Mount Horeb. Other sites include Cashton, Lafarge, Richland Center, Viroqua, Eastman, and Westby. Best of luck to all the area teams throughout the season, and they wish all of you a happy and prosperous new year.
Welcome back to the top half of inning number 2. The Arcadia Raiders up to bat. Number 23, the left fielder Berg for the Raiders in the batter's box. And a called strike one. Swung on and hit to center field. Fielded by Emily Barra. Thrown down to second for a single for Berg. Now we'll have the left fielder, Slobby, in the batter's box with Walters on deck for the Raiders. No outs, runner on first. The score is 2-2. Shown bunt and a called strike one. Swung on for strike two. And a called strike three. That'll bring up Walters to the plate with the shortstop Sansala on deck. On 1 the count with 1 out. 2 on the board for the Raiders. Runner on first and a high ball one. Swung on for strike two. High ball two. 2-2 the count with 1 out. 2 Walters. And swung on for strike three. Second out of the inning. That'll bring up the shortstop Sansala with 2 outs. Runner on first for the Raiders. Called strike one. upper portion of the strike zone. Here comes the pitch from Clark. Swung on, ground ball past the second baseman to the right fielder Quackenbush for a single. They'll move Berg to second. And Sansala safely on first. And that'll bring up the leadoff, the catcher Aspen. Hit a single in the first inning. So, tied at 2 apiece with 2 outs. Runners on first and second for the Raiders. Low, ball 1 in the dirt, and that will move the runners. Berg to third and Sansala to second. So now with a couple runners in scoring position. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs to Aspen. Pitch hit high, fly ball to the right fielder Kate Quackenbush for out number 3. So no runs on 2 hits, no errors for the Raiders. And we'll be back with the home half of the second inning after this.
Bethel Home and Services. Housing facilities located in Viroqua, Coon Valley, Cashton, and Lafarge, providing that unique care for Vernon County residents. Be sure to call 608-637-2171. Learn more about the many opportunities for residents, volunteers, donors, and employees at Bethel Home and Services. Carmen Fortune, your local New Directions real estate expert. Carmen is a lifelong resident of the Coulee region. If you're thinking of selling your home, farm, or even business, be sure to give Carmen a call. Talk over the possibilities today. 608-606-2497 or Carmen at newdirectionsre.com. That's Carmen Fortune, New Directions real estate expert. Peck's Corner, a great place to watch the big game, host a birthday party, and much more. You can always enjoy a euchre tournament or your own friendly game of cards. And of course, be sure to get a dart team up and join the league later on in the year. Stop in Peck's Corner, just outside of Cashton. Say hi to Nick and all the gang. 3766 County Road D, Cashton.
Welcome back. We've got the home half of the second inning. Leading off things for the Blackhawks is number 19, the second baseman, Maddie Zuby. Pass ball number 1. Zuby, hit by pitch. I'm sorry. That's good enough for first base. Zuby coming off a 2-run homer in Arcadia last week. For the win, Blackhawks won that game 3-2 in 7. And Emily Berra, the center fielder, showing bunt for strike number 1. So runner on first, Emily Berra, the number 9 batter in the box, and the top of the order in Whitney Scrady on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike to Zuby, or to Emily Berra. High, ball 2. Bunt fouled back for strike number 2. That evens the count up at 2 apiece. And a swinging strike 3 for Berra for the first out of the second inning. That'll bring up the top of the order in Whitney Scrady. Scrady singled in the first and was able to score. One of the 2 scores for the Blackhawks. The pitch just outside, ball 1. Fouled back for strike number 1. That evens the count up at 1 apiece with 1 out for the Blackhawks. Score still tied at 2. Pitch from Brimmer. High, ball 2. High, ball 3. Scrady way ahead in the count with Mara Anderson on deck. Scrady, the designated player for the right fielder, Kate Quackenbush. She will see a base on balls. That'll move Zuby to second. And bring up the shortstop, Mara Anderson, with the pitcher, Zoe Clark, on deck. Pitch from Bremer, low, ball 1. Swung on for strike number 1. That evens the count up at 1 apiece with 1 out for the Blackhawks. Hit on down the first baseline and caught by the left fielder. And the throw back to first will keep Scrady safe and the runners at first and second. So the 9 unassisted. That will be out number 2 and bring up the pitcher, Zoe Clark. Called strike 2, 0-2 the count. No balls, 2 strikes to Clark with 2 outs. And a high fly ball to center field that'll drop short. And good enough for a double and score both Zuby and Scrady. And bump that score up to 4-2. And bring up the third baseman, Bryn Swenson. Now the 2-run lead with 2 outs. The Blackhawks have the third baseman Swenson in the batter's box with the first baseman Maggie Berra on deck. Swenson walked in the first inning. And a high fly ball to the center fielder for out number 3 in the inning. So 2 runs on 1 hit. 1 left on base for the Blackhawks. So the 4-2 lead will start the third inning, the top of the third inning, after word from these sponsors.
The VFW of Viroqua hopes that you're enjoying today's special presentation. Be sure to check out the VFW banquet and dining facilities for your next big event. We can cater to all your needs, birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, and of course your fundraising events. Call Eric Sherry, 637-3212. And remember, no one does more for veterans than the VFW. Cade Clearing. When it comes to clearing out old tree stumps or taking down hazardous trees, be sure to contact Cade Clearing. Brett at 608-615-0827 or Riley at 608-632-3678. Fully insured for your protection. Cade Clearing. Call today for a free estimate. Midbeast TV and Appliance, the place to go in Cashton for your Samsung, LG, Frigidaire, and more with kitchen appliances. Watch the playoff games and regular season events with the best large screen TV selection, all from Midbeast TV and Appliance. Excellent, friendly, and knowledgeable service department as well. That's Midbeast, downtown Cashton.
Welcome back. Starting things off in the third inning is the center fielder, Fitzpatrick, who just made the play for third out in the second inning. And she will ground out to the shortstop for a 6-3 putout. For out number one, that'll bring up the pitcher, Bremer, with the first baseman, Sansala, on deck. First pitch low in the dirt, ball one. Bremer with a triple in the first inning. Looking to follow that up with a inside ball two. Low ball three. 3-0 the count with one out to Bremer. High ball four. That'll put a runner on for the Raiders and bring up the first baseman, Sansala. Third baseman, Ely, on deck. And the throw down to second. It's not going to be in time. So that'll move Bremer over to second and possibly scoring position. 0-1 the count to Sansala, the left-handed batter. Pitch swung on and foul back for strike two. Pitch in the dirt for ball one, or ball two. That'll move Bremer over to third. 1-2 the count to Sansala with Ely on deck. And a grounder down to third base, picked up by Swenson and thrown for a 5-3 put out and out number two. But that will score Bremer. 4-3 the score. Now nobody on. 2 outs for the Raiders. And that'll bring up the third baseman, Ely, with the right fielder, Berg, on deck. Ely popped out to the pitcher in the first inning and fouled the first pitch back for strike number 1. And foul back for strike 2. 0-2 the count with 2 outs to Ely. Here comes the pitch from Clark. Ball 1. High, ball 2. Two and 2 the count to Ely with 2 outs. Blackhawks lead by a score of 4-3. Swung on and fouled up past the past home plate there. Swung on and hit right to first base for the number 3 unassisted. So 1 run on no hits for the Raiders. 4-3 your score as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Nordic Lanes, a proud sponsor of today's special broadcast. Scott and Susan Sordahl wishing all the best to the area wrestlers throughout the rest of the season. Nordic Lanes offering a full menu, including the best pizza in the area, along with other mouth-watering specials throughout the week. When it comes to large group, birthday parties, and much more, Nordic Lanes, the place to go, on the north side of Westby. Bethel Home and Services, housing facilities located in Viroqua, Coon Valley, Cashton, and Lafarge, providing that unique care for Vernon County residents. Be sure to call 608-637-2171. Learn more about the many opportunities for residents, volunteers, donors, and employees at Bethel Home and Services. The Westby Co-op Credit Union. For nearly 80 years, helping individuals and businesses meet their goals through financial support. When it comes to farm loans, home mortgages, car loans, line of credit, and much more. The place to turn to, WCCU.
Well, we join the home half of the 3rd inning already in progress. We've got 1 out. They just don't give enough time for bathroom breaks here at the Park Bowl field. So the first baseman, Maggie Berra, was out number 1 of the inning. We've got the catcher, Braylon Zitzner, in the batter's box right now with a 2-2 count with 1 out. And the left fielder, Emily Hubach, on deck, and a called strike 3 for out number 2. So with Emily Hubach in the batter's box, we have the second baseman, number 19, Maddie Zuby, on deck. Emily Hubach grounded out to the first baseman in the first inning. And she called strike 1. 1-1 the count. 1-2 the count with a high fly ball to the third baseman for out number 3 of the inning. So 3 up, 3 down for the Blackhawks. 4-3 your score. And we will return with the top of the fourth inning after this.
Miles of Smiles Child Care Center, LLC. Located in the basement of Our Savior's Church, downtown Westby, 306 South Main. Be sure to call Ashley Liam at 608-634-2833. Ages 6 weeks through 10 years. There's a ton of fun and life learning experiences waiting for your child at Miles of Smiles Child Care. The Bank of Cashion hopes that you're enjoying today's special presentation. Be sure to call Scott Wall, 654-5121 for all of your banking and investment needs. Now located at 724 Front Street, a new modern bank, yet the same know your neighbor attitude. The Bank of Cashion. Vernon Manor Healthcare Center, located just outside of Viroqua, a county-owned long-term care and rehabilitation facility. Be sure to call Amanda Huff or any of her crew at 637-5400 and find out why you are treated like family at Vernon Manor Healthcare Center.
Welcome back. We're in the top of the fourth inning. The Raiders have the left fielder, Berg, in the batter's box. Foul back for strike number 1. One and one the count to Berg, with the left fielder Slobby on deck. Here comes pitch from Clark, just outside for ball 2. Swung on and fouled for strike 2. That evens the count up at 2 apiece. And a high fly ball to center field, caught by the center fielder, Emily Barra, for out number 1 of the inning. That brings up the left fielder, number 4, Slobby, and Walters, the second baseman, on deck. Swung on and fouled back for strike 1. Pitch from Clark, swung on for strike 2. Swung on and hit to the right fielder Quackenbush for a single. And then I'll bring up the second baseman, Walters, with the shortstop, Sensala, on deck. 1 out for the Raiders. The pitch from Clark. Shown bunt for strike number 1. Raiders trail the Blackhawks by a score of 4-3 in the top half of the 4th inning. Called strike 2. 0-2 the count to Walters. And a swinging strike 3 for out number 2 of the inning. That'll bring up the bottom of the order, the shortstop Sensala, with the catcher Aspen on deck, and the top of the order. 2 outs, runner on first. Low, but a called strike 1. I mean, who am I to argue with the umpire? I'm out here in left field. I can't see anything. Swung on and hit past the shortstop for a single. That'll move Slobby to second and bring up the catcher Aspen with the center fielder Fitzpatrick on deck. So 2 outs, runners on first and second for the Raiders. They trail by 1, 4-3 in the top of the 4th inning. The leadoff hitter, Aspen, in the batter's box. And the pitch from Clark swung on, strike 1. On 1 the count with the pitch coming from Clark. Low, evens count up at 1 apiece. Pitch from Clark, fouled down the third baseline for strike number 2. 1-2 the count. Ooh, not quite a check string swing. That'll even the count up at 2 apiece. Pitch from Clark, swung on and hit to center field, and the catch by Emily Barra for out number 3. So that'll be a 8 unassisted. So no runs on 1 hit, 2 hits for the Raiders. And that'll bring the home half of the 4th inning and the Blackhawks when we return.
Main Street Designs. If you're in need for a cut, color, or highlight, be sure to contact Leah Kroom. Main Street Designs may be just what you're looking for. Conveniently located in the heart of Westby, 116 South Main Street. Give Leah a call today, 634-3201, and set up your appointment. American Family Insurance. For all your protection under one roof, it's the Miranda Wright Agency, Westby and Viroqua, providing you with a wide range of reliable insurance protection for you and your loved ones. Hard-working farm insurance coverage as well from your American Family Miranda Wright Agency. Stop in today and see why they are the family that you choose.
Welcome back to the home half of the fourth inning here at the Park Bowl softball field. Blackhawks lead by a score of 4-3 with the second baseman Maddie Zuby in the batter's box and the center fielder Emily Barra on deck. The pitch from Bremer, low for ball one. Swung on and chopped to the second baseman for the 4-3 put out. And out number one of the inning, center fielder Emily Barra to the batter's box. With the top of the lineup, Whitney Scrady, the designated player batting for the right fielder Kate Quackenbush on deck. Pitch swung on for strike one. And a called strike two. Pitch from Rimmer, low and outside for ball one. Swung on and hit just foul over the third baseline for strike number two. 1-2 the count to Scrady. No, this is Emily Barra. I'm sorry. I said that before. I got ahead of myself. I tend to do that from time to time. So the count to Barra 1-2 with one out. High, ball two. That evens it up at 2 apiece. Pitch called strike three. Out number two of the inning. That'll bring up the designated player Whitney Scrady batting for Kate Quackenbush, the right fielder. She is followed by Mara Anderson. Nice hit up the middle for a single. That'll bring up the shortstop Anderson with the pitcher Zoe Clark on deck. So with a runner on first, 2 outs, here's Anderson's first pitch, swung on for strike one. Low for ball one. Pitch from Bremer, swung on for strike two. 1-2 the count with 2 outs for the Blackhawks and Anderson in the batter's box. Whitney Scrady on first base. Inside and slightly high for ball two. That evens the count up at 2 apiece. Swung on and missed for strike number 3. So no runs on one hit for the Blackhawks. We'll come back with the top of the 5th inning and the Arcadia Raiders after a word from these sponsors.
Stop in at Brockton Bar and Grill. When it comes to the best grilled chicken from May through October, there's no place like the Rockton Bar. Stop in, say hi to Jody and all the gang just outside of Lafarge. Delicious lunch and evening specials each and every day. Good luck to all of the area wrestlers throughout the state tournament trail. ADRC of Vernon County. supporting elderly and the disabled. 402 Courthouse Square. The ADRC of Vernon County is looking for volunteer drivers in Hillsborough, Lafarge, and Ontario. Help transport your neighbors to medical appointments or for daily errands. Mileage reimbursement is available. Call Vernon County's Aging and Disability Resource Center today. Lynn's Home Center, downtown Cashton. Lynn's Home Center is open 7 days a week, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., and Saturdays until 5. Major appliances, Whirlpool, Maytag, and Amana for you to choose from. Be sure to call Lynn's Home Center, 654-7844. And remember, if they don't have it, you don't need it.
Welcome back to the top of the fifth inning. We have the center fielder, Fitzpatrick, leading off for the Raiders. The pitch from Clark to lead off. It's low and in the dirt for ball one. Swung on and hit to second base for the 4-3 putout. And out number one of the inning. That'll bring up the pitcher, Bremer. And she'll see the first pitch for ball one. The first baseman, Sala, on deck. Eli in the hole. Pitch, check swing, high, ball one. Or ball two, I'm sorry. 2-0 the count. Swung on and hit to the center fielder. That'll be a throwback to second base for a single for Bremer. And the first baseman, Sala, now to the batter's box. And she'll see the first pitch from Clark. And the steal. So we'll have a ball one called. And Bremer safely at second base. Swung on and hit to first base. The easy out at one, but that'll move Bremer to third. So the 3 unassisted for out number 2. And that'll bring up the third baseman, Eli. And the right fielder, Berg, on deck. The pitch from Clark. Swung on and caught miraculously by the second baseman, Matty Zuby, for a 4 unassisted for out number 3. So no runs on 1 hit for the Raiders, and the home half of the third inning with the Blackhawks leading by a score of 4-3 after this.
Vernon Memorial Healthcare. VMH is committed to making your visit a 5-star patient experience anytime you need them. Find out more by going to vmh.org/5starcare. 16 straight years of outstanding service based on Centers for Medicare and Medicaid. All this right here in Viroqua. Embroidery and more. For quality embroidery, sewing services, screen printing, and promotional products at reasonable rates. Be sure to stop in, see Greg Danes at their location, 210D Swigum Road in Westby. Get the job done right the first time. Best of luck to the Norsemen, Eagles, and Blackhawks throughout the year.
Welcome back to the home half of the fifth inning. The pitcher, Zoe Clark, to the batter's box to lead things off, followed by the third baseman, Bryn Swenson, on deck, and the first baseman, Maggie Barra, in the hole. Blackhawks lead by a score of 4-3 here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Here comes the pitch from Bremer. Low, ball one. Blackhawks lost a tough one in week 1 or 2 of the season from Arcadia. This is a chopper to the shortstop for the 6-3 putout and out number 1 of the inning. That'll bring up the third baseman, Bryn Swenson. Blackhawks losing their first go-around to the Raiders in 10 innings. Not sure of the score. I know it was in 10. I want to say it was like 7-6 or 8-7, something to that effect. Conditions for that game very cold, in the 30s. Called strike one to even the count up at 1 apiece for Swenson. The first baseman Barra on deck and the catcher Zitzner in the hole. The pitch from Bremer, high, ball 2. Swenson walked in the first inning and popped up to center field in the second. This is her third at-bat, swung on for strike 2. Evens count up at 2 apiece with 1 out for the Blackhawks. Popped up and to the fence. That'll be good enough for a double for Swenson. She'll be safe at second. So bounced off the fence. So we have a runner in potentially scoring position for the first baseman, Maggie Barra, with the catcher, Bryn Swenson, on deck. Or Braylon Zitzner, I'm sorry. So 1 out, runner on second. First pitch swung on for strike 1. Zitzner on deck. Emily Hubach, the left fielder, in the hole. Swung on, fouled down the third base line for strike number 2. Here comes the pitch from Bremer. High and past the catcher. That'll move Swenson down to third base and definitely in scoring position. And put a ball on the board. 1-2 the count to Maggie Barra. Low, ball 2. Evens count up at 2 apiece. 1 out, runner in scoring position for the Blackhawks. Braylon Zitzner, the catcher, on deck. Low and outside for ball 3. Full count. And here comes the payoff pitch from Bremer. Swung on for a swinging strike 3. 2 outs now, and the catcher, Braylon Zitzner, in the batter's box with the left fielder, Emily Hubach, on deck. 2 outs. Blackhawks lead by a score of 4-3 here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. The pitch from Bremer, high, ball 1. strike zone. 2-0 the count. Low, ball 3. I'm sure Zitzner has the red light from the coaches over in the dugout for the Blackhawks. 3-0 the count. Low, ball 4. So base on balls for Zitzner. And with 2 outs, that'll bring Emily Hubach to the plate with the second baseman, Maddie Zuby, on deck. And they're going to get a runner for the catcher in number 5. That looks like Emma Moyleen. And the pitch to Hubach from Bremer high, ball 1. And Moyleen will take second base safely. Runners on second and third, 2 outs for the Blackhawks. Here comes the pitch from Bremer for a called strike 1. 1-1 the count. Swung on and chopped to the pitcher for the 1-3 putout and out number 3 of the inning. So no runs on 1 hit. 2 left on base for the Blackhawks, and we will see the top of the 6th inning after a word from a few of our great sponsors.
The Westby Co-op Creamery. Quality dairy products from the Westby Creamery. Their convenience store is open 7 days a week. Serving the dairy industry for over 110 years. It's the Westby Co-op Creamery with organic and conventional dairy products for you to enjoy. Congratulations to the Westby Creamery for the continued support of our area farmers.
Welcome back. Leading things off in the top of the 6th inning for the Arcadia Raiders is the right fielder, Berg, number 23, with the left fielder, Slobby, on deck. Just missed the strike zone outside for ball 1. Chopped down to the pitcher for the 1-3 putout. And out number 1 of the inning. That'll bring up the second baseman, Walters, and the shortstop, Sansala, on deck. So with 1 out, Blackhawks lead by a score of 4-3 in the top half of the 6th inning. Walters has struck out in the 2nd and 4th innings consecutively. I'm not sure. We may have a substitution. I am not privy to that information on who may be coming up. Little conference there by the home plate umpire. We do have number 4, which is not on my roster. She is batting for number 6, the second baseman, Walters. And she sees ball 1. Sucks not having all of the information. So swung on, foul back to even the count up at 1 apiece for the mystery Arcadia player. Swung on and missed for strike 2. No, this is number 4, Slobby. See, I got ahead of myself, and that's the strikeout for number 2 in the inning. This will bring up the second baseman, Walters, but this is a substitution. I take that back. Looks like number 9. We have a runner on first base. And number 22 is batting. Swung on and foul back for strike 1. And hit by pitch. That'll move the runner over to second and load up first base. And that's going to bring up I believe this is number 11. I think we're at the top of the order again. No, this is number 10. This is Sensala. So Sensala, the shortstop, swung on pitch number 1 and foul back for strike 1. 1 out, runners on first and second for the Raiders. And that'll go down as an error on the second baseman. So that will, Sensala will reach first, and that'll load the bases up for the Raiders with 1 out. And the top of the order, number 2, the catcher, or number 11, the 2, the catcher. Jeez. Boy, I'm struggling. Number 11, Aspen, in the batter's box for the Raiders. Bases loaded, 1 out. They trail by 1. First pitch is fouled back for strike number 1. Potential big inning for the Raiders if the Blackhawks can't pull off some defense. Here's the pitch from Clark, low in the dirt, but blocked by Zitster. Ball 1, that evens the count up at 1 apiece. Low in the dirt for ball 2. Swung on and hit to right field past Quackenbush. Foul for strike number 2. 2 and 2 the count now to the leadoff batter Aspen. Here comes the pitch from Clark. Swung on and hit past the shortstop. Left fielder Hubach throwing home, going to go past home. And that will score 1 run for the Raiders. 2 runs, I'm sorry. So they'll take the lead. 5-3 is now we have runners on first and second. After the throw home. Raiders take the lead for the first time in the ball game, and that'll bring up the center fielder, number 1, Fitzpatrick. Runners on second and third with 1 out. Here comes the pitch from Clark. Low. Ball 1. No attempt from Sensala at third, due to the short backstop here at the Legion, or the Park Bowl softball field. So the pitcher, Bremer, on deck. Center fielder Fitzpatrick hits a ball to left field. That is fair. That's going to score Sensala. And give Fitzpatrick a triple. That's going to score Aspenson and Sensala. So big inning for the Raiders. 7-4, little conference at the mound for the Blackhawks. 1 out, runner on third base. They've scored 4 runs this inning on 2 hits, an error, and a hit by pitch. And after a little conference on the mound, we'll take a quick break and come back with the conclusion of the 6th inning after this.
Award-winning service from the best small technology company in the nation is Vernon Communications in Westby and Viroqua. For local high school sporting events, community coverage, be sure to check out Vernon Communications Channel 14. Superior technology to our local communities for over 60 years.
After a little conference on the mound by Coach Hopkins, Clark still remains in the game, and we have number 2, the pitcher Bremer, swinging on the first pitch for strike number 1. So big inning for the Raiders, 4 runs on 1 hit, essentially. So runner on third, second pitch in the dirt for ball 1. That evens the count up at 1 apiece. And a called strike 2. The first baseman, Sensala, on deck. Ely, the third baseman, in the hole. Swung on and chopped to shortstop for the 6-3 putout. But that will score Fitzpatrick. So 2 outs. The score now is 8-4 Raiders. As we see the first baseman, Sensala, and third baseman, Ely, on deck. First pitch from Clark, just outside, ball 1. Raiders almost batting around. Sensala and Ely would be batters number 8 and 9. Little chopper back to first base for the 1-3 putout and out number 3 in the inning. So big inning for the Raiders. 5 runs on 2 hits and an error to bring the score up 8-4 as we see the home half of the 6th inning after we return.
The future is bright for Touchstone Energy Cooperatives. You inspire us to find solutions, to provide the energy our community needs, and the knowledge you can use to save you and your family money, and keep business thriving. Great things lie ahead, and what's here today has never been better. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, your source for power and information.
Eagle Title Company, located on the north side of Coon Valley, 95 Central Avenue. Be sure to stop in, talk to Lori Holte regarding the 5 things not to do during your new property closing. Peace of mind and solid protection for you, the consumer, during your new purchase. Lori Holte, working only in Vernon, Monroe, and La Crosse counties to serve you.
Welcome you back to the home half of the 6th inning. After a big 5th inning from the Raiders, they lead now by a score of 8-4. The second baseman, Maddie Zuby, up to the plate, followed by the center fielder, Emily Berra, and the top of the order consecutively. First pitch to Zuby, swung on and fouled back for strike 1. Owen won the count. Pitch swung on and hit high to second base for out number 1. Center fielder Emily Berra struck out in the 2nd and 4th innings. Up to bat for the Blackhawks with 1 out. Top of the order to follow. Low and outside, ball 1. Just a bit high and outside for ball 2. Pitch from Bremer, swung on and hit, just foul. That'll even the count up at 2 apiece. That may have been the first strike. 2-1 the count on the board to Berra with 1 away. Pitch from Bremer. Called strike 2. Just outside, full count. Here comes the payoff pitch from Bremer. Swung on and fouled back. Still full to Berra. Scrady Anderson on deck and in the hole. 1 away. Blackhawks trail by 4, 8-4 your score. And a nice hit ball to right field for a single. And she's going to try her hand for 2. And will make it. We're going to call that a double here in the books because no one's telling me not to. And now with a runner on second, we have the top of the order in Whitney Scrady. Runner in scoring position with 1 out. Scrady singled in the first inning, walked in the second, and singled in the 4th. So her on-base percentage right now is 1,000 with a nice ground ball right up the middle past the center fielder. That will score Berra. And moves Grady safely to second. Great play by Scrady. That'll bring up the shortstop, number 1, Mara Anderson, with the pitcher Zoe Clark on deck. 8-5 now the score with one away. Runner on second, swung on and fouled back for strike 1. Zoe Clark on deck. Bryn Swenson, the third baseman, in the hole. Swung on and fouled back for strike 2. Bremer way ahead in the count for the Raiders. 0-2 the count to Anderson with one away. Anderson singled in the first, pop up to right field and struck out in the fourth inning. Saw ball 1-2 now the count. Pitch from Bremer, swung on for strike 3 and out number 2 of the inning. That'll bring up the pitcher number 12, Zoe Clark, with Bryn Swenson on deck. Clark reached first base on an error in the first inning, hit a double in the second, and a nice ball right up the middle for a single. That'll score Scrady. And take the score up 8-6 with the third baseman, Bryn Swenson. There are 2 outs now in the inning. Runner on first. The first baseman, Maggie Barra, on deck. First pitch, foul back, strike 1. Blackhawks chipping away at that 4-run lead, now down to 2. With 2 away, 1 strike to the third baseman, Swenson. Pitch from Bremer, high, ball 1. Little check down to first base to keep Clark in order. Swenson walked in the first inning, flew out to center field, and hit a double in the 5th. Ball 2, ahead in the count to Swenson. 2-1 with the pitch from Bremer. Swung on and chopped to the shortstop for a single. That'll move Clark over to second base, so runners on first and second. Will bring up the first baseman, Maggie Barra. Braylon Zitzner, the catcher, on deck. 2 away. Runner possibly in scoring position. High foul back for strike 1. Swung on and fouled down the third base line for strike number 2. 0-2 the count to Barra. Blackhawks looking to stay alive and close that 2-run gap that the Raiders produced in the top of the 6th inning. High fly ball just over the fence for strike number 2.5. 0-2 still the count with 2 away. Runners on first and second for the Blackhawks. Braylon Zitzner on deck, fouled back. Still strike 2. 0-2 still the count. Barrett definitely on it, just looking to hit that middle of the ball, fouled back again. One of these times she'll hit it the right way. Here comes the pitch from Bremer. And a called strike 3 to end the inning. So the Blackhawks with 2 runs on 4 hits, 2 left on base. They closed half the gap. 8-6 your score, Raiders leading as we head off to the final inning in the top of the 7th when we return.
The Daily Brew Company, Westby's newest business. Stop in for terrific coffee and mouth-watering sandwiches each and every day. Located at 100 Washington Street. Call ahead, 634-4001. It's family owned. The Oleroots and Cades invite you to stop in. Sweet Valley Artisan and Valley Fudge and Candy invite you to stop in and browse the 9,000 square feet of Artisan Mall located in downtown Coon Valley. With more than 50 local artisans, you're sure to find your treasure with handmade crafts, collectibles, furnitures, paint, and more. Downtown Coon Valley. We'll see you there. Sweet Valley Artisan.
Welcome back to the top half of the 7th inning. We have number 16, the third baseman, Ely, in the batter's box for the Raiders. They lead by a score of 8-6. As we see the first pitch from Clark. Catch the corner for strike number 1. We have Ely in the batter's box, the right fielder Berg on deck with the left fielder Slobby in the hole. Pitch swung on second base for the 4-3 putout. And out number 1 of the inning. Number 23, the left fielder, or the right fielder Berg in the batter's box now for the Raiders. Slobby on deck, Walters in the hole, 1 away. Here comes the pitch from Clark. Swung on and foul back for strike 1. Raiders lead by a score of 8-6 here in the top half of the 7th inning. Here comes the pitch from Zoe Clark. Inside corner for strike number 2. Just missed inside or outside for ball 1. Little chopper down the first baseline, foul. 1-2 the count. Swung on and popped up. And running in for the catch and the unassisted out is the pitcher, Zoe Clark. 2 outs now in the 7th inning. That'll bring up the left fielder, number 4, Slobby, with the second baseman, Walters, on deck. 2 away. Pitch from Clark, low, ball 1. Low for ball 2. Pitch from Clark, called strike 1. 1 and 2 now to Slavi. Swinging strike number 2. Slavi struck out in the second inning, hit a single in the fourth, and was hit by pitch in the sixth inning. High and outside, full count. Low, ball 4. So that'll put a runner on first for the Raiders and bring up the second baseman, Walters, with the shortstop, Sensala, on deck. We'll throw it on the second, not in time. One and 0 the count to Walters. Foul back for strike 1. Low and the throw down to third. Is safe. Now the runner in scoring position. 2 outs. Raiders lead 8-6. The count is 2-1 to Walters. Blackhawks looking to get out of this inning. Low and outside, ball 3. Little chopper to shortstop for the 6-3 putout. And out number 3 in the inning, so 1 run. Or I'm sorry. No runs. No hits. 1 left on base for the Raiders. We'll come back with the conclusion and the home half of the 7th inning after a word from these sponsors.
Coon Valley Telecommunications, serving Stoddard, Coon Valley, and the Chaseburg communities with state-of-the-art communication services, cable television, phone service, high-speed internet, and computer repair. Contact Coon Valley Telecommunications, 452-3101, and their friendly staff work quickly to get you up and running. That's Coon Valley Telecommunications.
What are you doing there, Dan?
I'm draining the hose.
So Dan thinks he can get more electricity by draining the hose. Should we tell him?
No.
Be sure to stop in any of the 3 Sleepy Hollow facilities located on Viroqua's north side. We'll see you there.
And here is the conclusion of the Arcadia Raiders and the Viroqua Blackhawks. We are in the 7th inning. That was the first pitch to the catcher, Braylon Zitzner, for ball 1. Blackhawks trail by a score of 8-6 here in the home half of the 7th inning. Swung on, and a monster hit to right center field. That'll be good enough for a double for Zitzner to lead things off in the 7th inning. And bring up the left fielder, Emily Hubach. We're going to get a runner for the catcher. That looks to be Emma Moyleen doing the running duties. So left fielder Hubach in the batter's box with the second baseman Maddie Zuby on deck. Hubach popped up to the first baseman in the first inning, the third baseman in the third inning, and grounded out to the pitcher in the 5th. She's 0-3 on the day, looking to get her first hit on the board. Ball 1 was the first pitch from Bremer. We're going to get called strike 1. Zuby on deck. Emily Berra, the center fielder, in the hole. Blackhawks trail by 2. Going to catch the inside corner for a called strike 2. Just low and outside for ball 2. That evens count up at 2 apiece with no outs. Runner on second for the Blackhawks. Here's the pitch. Swung on and hit over the first base line, and that will be foul. And strike number 2. That evens the count up at 2 apiece for Hubach. Here comes the pitch from Bremer. Swung on and hit to left field. That'll drop for a single. We've got runners on the corners. And the second baseman, number 19, Maddie Zuby, to the batter's box. And we're going to have a little conference on the mound for the Raiders. The tying run represented at the runner on first base. This was some decisions, I'm sure, the Arcadia coach calming Bremer down a little bit. Maddie coming off a big 2-run homer to help the Blackhawks win against Black River Falls earlier in the week by a score of 3-2. I'm sure they might be a little nervous. So here comes the first pitch to the second baseman. Runners on the corners, no outs. Here comes the pitch from Bremer. High, ball 1. And that'll be a little throwback to first, or to the pitcher. That'll move Hubach to second. So now a single scores 2 and ties the ball game. Swung on, high fly ball to left field, and that will be caught, and the runner tagged at third and scores to bring it within 1. A nice sacrifice fly for Zuby and the RBI. 8-7 now in the bottom of the 7th inning. Runners on second, or just a runner on second base, I should say. Here's the center fielder, Emily Berra, swung on and hit the home dugout for strike number 1. Berra struck out in the 2nd and 4th innings and hit a double in the 6th. with an RBI scoring Bryn Swenson. Little chopper to shortstop for the 6-1 or 6-3 put out, but will advance the runner to third and Hubach. And that brings up the top of the order, Whitney Scrady, tying run representing on the third base. Whitney Scrady, the designated player, batting for the right fielder, Kate Quackenbush. Scrady 2 for 3 on the day with a single, a double, and a walk. I'm sorry, 2 singles. She's 3 for 4. With 2 singles, a double, and a walk. On base percentage of 1,000. There's 2 outs, 1 ball. Tying run on third. High. Ball 2. The shortstop, Mara Anderson, on deck. The pitcher, Zoe Clark, in the hole. 2 outs for the Blackhawks. The pitch from Bremer. Just missed outside. 3-0 the count. Scrady, I'm sure, with the red light. Gonna wait and see, but knowing Whitney, if it's a good pitch, I'll bet she swings. And she did. Fouled back for strike 1. And of all times, the camera is telling me that it's just about out of battery. So that'll be a walk. And runners on the corners for the Blackhawks. Let me switch camera batteries quick and I'll be right back.
Culver's of Viroqua. That's where you can get a great tasting butter burger. Or crank it up a notch. It's the deluxe burger. Right here in Viroqua, where food is grown, not made. Home of the concrete mixer. Culver's hopes that you're enjoying today's special presentation. And remember, they offer a flavor of the day each and every day.
Oh, thanks. We had sealants do Stainmaster Pet Protect carpets, so it's really easy to clean.
Mom, can I bring the garden hose into my bedroom?
The what? Why?
Me and Max took a shortcut through the woods and we're kind
Do not take another step, either of you. Did I mention I love Stainmaster Pet Protect carpet?
Sealant's Carpetland Floors to Go in Coon Valley, where the #1 priority is you.
Basically, if you could step on it, Sealant sells it.
Can I still bring the hose into my bedroom?
That'll be a no.
So now that I've switched battery packs, the Blackhawks now with Mara Anderson to the plate. 0-2 the count to Anderson with 2 away. We've got runners on first and second and the big strikeout. And that's the ball game. The Blackhawks fall to the Arcadia Raiders by a score of 8-7. And as I tally some things up, let's get a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back with a short recap after this.
When you think of a co-op, farms may come to mind, but it's the people that make a cooperative thrive. At the Chaseburg Co-op, that means everyone who's involved. Those who work there, members who do business, even customers passing through for anything from gas to tires. It's local. It's people coming together community-wide and beyond. You don't have to be a member of the Chaseburg Co-op to do business with them, but it sure has its perks, and it's free. Ask how you can become a member. The Chaseburg Co-op, your locally owned co-op.
Scenic Bluffs Community Healthcare Center, serving Cashton, Ontario, Norwalk, Viroqua, Sparta, and surrounding communities with the most up-to-date medical care for everyone. From behavioral, dental, chiropractic, and medical, it's Scenic Bluffs Community Healthcare Centers.
So just a quick recap of today's game. The Viroqua Blackhawks fall by a score of 8-7 to the Arcadia Raiders. Arcadia had 8 runs on 9 hits with no errors. They left 6 on base. Viroqua had 7 runs on 11 hits. They committed 1 error and left 10 on base. So your final score, 8-7 Arcadia Raiders. We'll be back with more softball action later on next week. So for Carl Zuby, on behalf of Western Wisconsin Video Productions, we will see you on the diamond a little later on.